Hello everyone, today we are going to look at simultaneous equation. With simultaneous equation, we have two methods in solving simultaneous equation. We have elimination method and substitution method, but today we are going to look at elimination method. Substitution simultaneous equation simply means solving two equations looking for the variables x and y. For instance, example, solve the equation x plus 2y equals 4, equation 1, two x plus y equals 2, equation 2. Using elimination method. Okay, let's solve this one. Solution. Now, I'm going to show you all the possible ways we can solve elimination method. But for this case, let's use the first way. First, I'll put down the steps. Step 1. We interchange the coefficient of x and multiply the equations. We interchange the coefficient of x and multiply the equations. we interchange the coefficient of x, and multiply the equations. So this is our two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Let me put down all the steps then, so when we are solving, then we apply them. Step 2. We subtract the new equations. We subtract the new lastly, third step, we substitute y in either of the given equation and solve for x. We substitute y in either of the given equations and solve for x. Now let's solve our equation. Let me put the equation here again. Sorry. X plus 2y equation 1 2x plus y equals 2 equation 2. Now our first step is, let's draw our line here. We interchange the coefficient of x and multiply the equations. So here, this is x. The coefficients of x are 2. Here, the coefficient here is 2. While the coefficient here is 1. So we interchange the coefficient. So we have 2 here. We have 1 here. And multiply the equations. So we say 2 times this times this times this, 1 times this times this times this. That is what we meant by we interchange the coefficient of x and multiply the equations. So 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 2y is plus 4y equals 2 times 4 is 8. Let's name this equation 3. And 1 times this times this times this is the same, so which is 2x plus y equals to 2. Let's name this equation 4. Now, since we are looking for two variables x and y, so what we are doing here is we are trying to look for the possible ways for which we can eliminate either x or y to have one variable before looking for the other variable. As you can see, we have now 2x here in equation 3 and 2x here in equation 4. So the next step is subtract the new equations. These are the new equations, equation 1, equation 3 and 4, sorry. These are the new equations. So let's subtract this equation. Let's put a negative sign here and subtract the equation. So always make sure you arrange your equation in a vertical manner, in a way that you can ease your subtraction. So 2x minus 2x is what? 0. Let me put a 0 so you can see. Now this one is positive. 4y minus positive y is, now you are seeing where on our previous video we saw how we can use subtraction and addition, how they interact. Now you are seeing the ideas how it is coming here. So we have positive 4y plus minus y. So this is simply 4y. Now negative positive is negative. So as you can see, this is 4y minus y, which is plus 3y. Put on equals. Now this one is 8 minus 2, which is 6. Now let's forget about this. We are left with this. Now we are looking for y. We can look for a y now. Guys, we are left with 3y is equals to 6. Now in this case, to look for y here, we make y the subject of the formula. Making y the subject of the formula simply means we have to separate y from any other variable or numbers. So we have to make y the subject of the formula. Now what we have to do here, we have to divide y, we have to divide by both sides by the coefficient, because if you divide by the coefficient here of this y is 3. So if you divide both sides by 3, divide both sides by 3, you are going to see that 3 divided by 3 will cancel 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we are left with what? Y equals to 6 over 3. So we can simplify this. 3 here 1, 3 here 2, which implies our y is equals to 2. We substitute y in either of the given equation and solve for x. Now this is our y. Substituting y in either of the given equation. This is our given equation here, equation 1 and 2. So it's either we substitute in equation 2 or in equation 1. So let's use equation 2. Equation 2. Which is 2x plus, now this is our y. Our y is what? 2. In the place of y we are going to put 2, which is 2 is equals 2. Now we are looking for what? X. The last step is what? We substitute y and in either of the given equations and solve for x. So we are solving for x. So to solve for x here, we have to make x the subject of the formula. We make x, the variable x, so making x the subject of the formula, we have to send away this constant to this side, and when this constant number is crossing an equal sign, the sign changes. Now it is positive 2. So when it crosses this equal sign, it changes to negative 2. So we have 2x 2x is equal, first of all write our 2 and we write the other 2. When it crosses the sign, it changes to negative 2. So 2x equals 2 minus 2 is what? 0. Now, to make x the subject here, we divide both sides by the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is 2. So we divide both sides by 2. So this is 2x divided by 2, 0 divided by 2. So as you can see, 2 can cancel 2. We have 2 here, 1, 2 here, 1. 2 divided by 2 is what? 1. So x is equals to, implies x is equal to 0. Therefore, 3 dot simply means therefore, our x is what? X is equals 0 and y equals to 2. To you. Now let's prove our answers. Let me put down our. Now I want us to prove our answers. Let's prove our answers. X equals 0 and y equals 2. Let me put down the, what was our equation? Equation 1 was x plus 2y equals 4. X plus 2y equals 2. Now, let's first of all use this equation 1 and prove our answers. Now, our x was what? X was equals to 0 and our y was 2. Now, to prove our answer, simply means we are going to substitute in the place of x in this equation 1. In the place of x, we substitute what? 0. In the place of y, we substitute what? 2. Now, to prove this answer, we are going to see that if we substitute x here, x and y here, we are going to have 4. So let's substitute. This is x. In the place of x, we put what? 0. 0 plus, in the place of y, our y is what? 2. So which is 2 into 2. This is equals, now 0, this one is out. 2 times 2 is what? 4, which means, therefore, 4 equals 4, as you can see, which means our answers are correct. Now let's use equation 2 to also prove equation 2. What was our equation 2? Our equation 2 was 2x plus y equals 2. 2x plus y equals 2. Equation 2. Now let's substitute our x and y also. Now in the place of x, we are going to put 0. In the place of y, we are going to put 2. Now, so implies we have 2 into our x was what? 0 plus our y is 2. Equals 2. Now as you can see, this simply means multiplication. So 2 times 0 is what? 0. Plus 0 plus 2 equals 2. So this one is out. So we have, therefore, 2 equals 2. As you can see, 2 is equivalent to 2. So that is our answer. Which means our answers are correct. Now let's look for another way. Let's look for another example. This one we are going to use another method of solving this one. So let's look at another example. Let's just use this portion for another example. Example 2. Two x plus 5y is equals to 11. Equation 1. 3x minus 5y equals to 4. Equation 2. Now let's solve this using elimination method. Now we are going to see that with this example, now okay, let's solve this one. Now we are going to use another method in solving this one, this two equation. Now we are going to use we are going to add the two equations. That we are going to add equation 1 and equation 2. Now, what we are actually looking for is what? Making one of the variable to be 0. Now, we see that if you look at this one, plus, if you subtract, if we add the equation, let's add the equations, plus, let's add these two equations. Now, 2x plus 3x is 5x. Now, 5y plus minus 5y. Now, plus minus is negative. Now, this is the same as what? 5 minus 5, which is 0. So, this one will become 0. Plus, let me just put 0y, but this one, there's no need for this. Let me just put it for you to understand. Equals to, now 11 plus 4 is 15. Now, when you are given two equations to solve using elimination method, now you first of all look at the two equations. If you can add or use the previous method that we just saw, by what? Interchanging the coefficients, then before subtracting the new equation. But with this one, we are using this method. We are using this method by what? Adding the two equations. Now we are adding because if we add these two equations, we are going to have what? One of the variable, as you can see, y, the variable y here, it's what? 0. So the variables here in this equation is what? X and y. So we are looking for x and y. So now we have what? Implies we are left with, there's no need for this, 0y is 0. This simply means 0. So we have 5x equals to 15. Now, to look for x, make x the subject, we divide both sides by what? The coefficient. The coefficient of x here is what? 5. So we divide both sides by 5. This 5 cancel with this. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we are left with what? X is equals to what? 15 over divided by 5. Now we can simplify this. 5 can go here 1. 5 divided by 5, 1. 5 divided by 15 is what? 3. Therefore, our x is 3. Now, therefore, our x is 3. Now, let's solve for y. To look for y, we are going to substitute this x in either of the equation, either equation 1 or 2, to look for y. Now, our x is what? 3. Let's use what? Let's use equation 2. Our equation 2 is, let me just abbreviate equation 2, and say equation 2, which is what? 3x, which is 3. Now this is our equation 2, 3x minus 5y equals 4, but our x is what? 3. So in the place of x, we are going to substitute what? 3. We are going to put 3. So we have 3 into 3, which means 3 times 3 minus 5y equals to 4. Now 3 times 3 is what? 6. And 3 times 3 is 9. We have 9 minus 5y is equals to 4. Now we are looking for y, so we have to make y the subject of the formula here, which means this 9 is going to cross this equal sign. to the right now. But the 9 is what? Positive. When it crosses this equal sign, it changes to negative. So this implies negative 5y equals to, first of all, write our 4. Now this is positive 9. When it crosses this equal sign, it changes to negative 9. So that is why we have 4 minus 9. Nice. Negative 5y equals to 4 minus 9 is what? 4 minus 9 is negative 5. Now, to look for y here, we are going to divide both sides by what? The coefficient, which is, the coefficient is what? Negative 5. The coefficient of y here is negative 5. So we divide both sides by negative 5. Both sides by negative 5. Negative 5. So this negative 5, we cancel this negative 5. We are left with what? This negative, we cancel this negative. 5 here 1, 5 here 1. Which implies y is equals 1 on 1. Therefore, our y is 1. Now, let's also prove our answers.